Hello, this is CJ Hoyle. In this video, I'm going to replace the rear tire on my 1992 Iowa Linear Recumbent bike. So last summer, I primarily used this bike as my tow vehicle for bringing my kayak down to the water using my bike trailer. One morning when I was getting the trailer hitched up and ready to go, I noticed this pretty bad split in the tire. So I moved my trailer hitch over to another bike and I used that bike to tow my kayak that day. I did also order a replacement tire for this bike, but it took a while for it to come in and I never got around to installing it. But now that things are starting to get warm again and there's not a lot of salt in the road and kayak season just around the corner, it's now time to get my 1992 Iowa Linear back on the road. So we'll start by turning the bike upside down. So this bike has fairly unusual dropouts. They're horizontal dropouts, but the wheel gets installed from the back, which means that if I want to take this wheel off, I have to slide it backwards. And on my bike, I have some fenders installed, which get in the way of the wheel coming off from the back. So my first step is to loosen these off and move the fender back so it's out of my way. This is the part in the procedure where you would also normally disengage your brakes, but the mechanism for doing that is actually not working on my brakes, so I'm going to skip that step. Instead, I'll just release some air from the tire, which should allow it to easily squeeze in between the pads. And just to make things a little bit easier, so that the chain is not in my way, I'm going to shift it into the smallest sprocket here. But then finally I can disengage the quick release and pull on the wheel backwards, so I can remove it from the bike, and I just have to move the chain out of here like that. Now the wheel is off. So I'll remove the rest of the air from the tire now. So my next step is to remove the tire from the rim. These things here are called tire levers. They're used for helping you to be able to get the rim off. Sometimes you need them, sometimes you don't. I prefer to avoid using these if it's possible, because with the tire lever there's a chance that the inner tube can get pinched, which will cause it to prematurely fail and have leaks. So again, I prefer to avoid using those. So first I'm going to see if I can get this one off without using the tire levers. So what I do is I find the spot where the valve stem is, and I'm going to, on the very opposite side from there, I'm going to try and take the tire like this, and using my thumbs, I'm going to try and basically push and press this edge so that it will go over the edge of the rim here. So I'm just going to shake it a little bit like this so I can sort of move the tire up this way, and then with my thumbs I'm going to push, kind of in this direction like this. And you can see I'm starting to get it there, so I think I'm going to be successful on this one without the tire lever. So I'm just pressing with my thumb, and there you can see I was able to get that off. And I'll just pull the valve stem out down here, and now this has been removed from the rim. So I'm actually going to be reusing this inner tube again, so I'll just pull it out from here like that. And the new tire that I'm going to replace it with is a Continental Ride Tour. So I can remove this label from it here. And then I'll place my inner tube in here, and I like to put the valve stem on the part here where it says what the inflation pressure is. So I can see right here it says maximum inflation 70 psi, so I'll put the valve stem right there. And I'll place this inner tube inside of the tire. So based on the tread pattern here, I can see that this tire is intended to be rotated in a particular direction. So if I look on the sidewall here, I can actually see that there's an arrow telling me which way it needs to rotate. So on bicycles, the sprockets are normally on the right-hand side, which means that if the wheel was to roll this way, it would be rolling in the clockwise direction. So that means that when I take the tire, I need to place it on here so that the direction of that arrow is also pointing in the clockwise direction. So now with them oriented the same way, I'll line up the valve stem with the hole in the rim where the valve stem goes, and insert the valve stem through that hole. And now I'm going to get one of the two beads installed onto this rim. I have no idea how well this is going to fit. So like I said before, I might need to use my tire levers, but we'll wait and see. I'll try to avoid it if I can. That one side actually went on quite easily. And I'm going to start again from the valve stem, and I'll put the very first part of the other side on now. And while I'm doing this, I want to make sure that I have my valve stem so it comes out, so it's perpendicular, or so it kind of sticks out straight. Right now it's not, so I'm just going to push this to the side a little bit to get it lined up. So now I'll work my way around and press the other parts in. So I've got it all the way inserted except for this last little part here, so I'm going to kind of walk my hands in, just pressing in on it like this, and hopefully I can meet in the middle. It's really tight though. It's a little bit easier to hold it this way. But there you can see I got it on. I was having difficulty because I was trying to show it to the camera by using my fingers, but my thumbs were actually a lot better at being able to push it in. But I've now got that tire inserted all the way around. Now I can put some air into it. Actually, because of the brake problem that I talked about earlier, I'm just going to go ahead and put the wheel back on the bike before I put the air in. So I need to grab the chain from back here because that needs to go around the sprocket before it gets installed. I'll just place this onto the smallest sprocket like that, where it was before. And then I pull this back here like this and line up the holes. I push it in. And for this one, I want to push it in all the way before reconnecting my quick release over here on the other side. And that clanking noise you hear back here is my fender, so I'll put these pieces back in place and tighten them up. So now I just want to pull my valve stem out like this, so it's sticking out all the way, and I can place my pump onto that valve, and I'll put some air in here. And as I'm filling it up for the first time, I just want to kind of make sure that everything's getting seated properly. You don't want it to be sort of crooked on the wheel at all, so I'll just gradually fill it up and just sort of check it as I'm doing it. So I've now got the tire so that it's partially pumped up, but to pump it up the rest of the way to 70 psi, I'm first going to flip the bike back over again, and that's because my floor pump works a lot better if I can actually use it on the floor and the hose is not long enough to be able to reach to the tire with it in this position here. I actually do prefer to pump up the tire a little bit like this with it upside down though, because it sort of helps the tire to seat correctly, because I feel that if the tire is, you have this sitting upside down and it's completely flat, then the tire is going to be sort of compressed in that one spot and it could create a little bit of a flat spot there. So that's the reason I'm doing it this way. So my new tire is now successfully installed and pumped up to full pressure, 70 psi. Before I take this bike for a test ride though, there are a couple of accessories that I want to reinstall onto the bike. These bar ends here I had borrowed last fall to install onto my folding bike, as well as this mirror, so I'm now going to install those back onto the handlebars of this bike. So these are pretty easy to reinstall. I just need to loosen off this bolt here, and then I should be able to slide this onto the end, like so, and I want to make sure that it's going all the way on so I can see this full end here. And figure out what angle I want to have it at. I'll just guess at this for now, but of course I will sort of probably tweak it once I actually ride the bike. And then I will tighten this bolt, so I'll use the right hand rule so I know which way to turn. So I want the bolt to go this way, so I'll rotate in this direction like that. And this is a bolt that you want to be particularly tight, because if you're applying a force onto the end of here with your hand, it's liable to spin. It holds quite a bit of torque, so you want to make sure that's pretty tight. But like I said, I'm probably going to tweak the angle, so I'm actually not going to make those extremely tight for now. And so the left side of the bike is where I installed this miracle mirror. This goes inside of here like that, and then I just tighten up the bolt on the end, which will make these two parts go apart and will kind of expand to fill that hole there. So I'll install this in here like this. I feel it starting to get tight. Like that. And then of course I'll obviously get my mirror in the correct position once I'm actually riding the bike. And the other bar end goes on in much the same way. So now with these repairs complete, I'm ready to take this bike back on the road again, and you can look forward to seeing it in future videos. But I hope you enjoyed following along with these repairs today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.